So it's her middle name. Her last name is Tashibold, but she drops it for the weather.
Right. Don't ruin...
That's pronounced Tebow.
Don't ruin this dream for me.
DeChambeau? I'm just glad we got that on the record. All right.
1, 2, 3, go.
Talking with words.
Seems a little louder than usual,
That
doesn't
was
it?
so loud.
Hey, welcome back to Talking with Words. Sorry about your eardrums. You're here with Rob.
Sally.
Cameron.
Ryan.
And David.
Man, that fucking delay kills it, doesn't it? That's going to be fun in the edit room.
You should let him go first.
He's going to hear you in like 3 minutes. Hold on. So tonight we're going to watch Memento, really the catalyst for Guy Pearce and
Christopher Nolan.
You were walking up to the mic. I knew you wanted to say it. And you had that look in your eye. I know one. I got one. This one I know.
I know things.
This came out in 2000?
Correct.
2000,
Yep.
exactly. And it's described, just like the movie, was short-term. A man with short-term memory loss attempts to track down his wife's killer. Woo! And it stars Guy Pearce, Carrie-Anne Moss, Joe Patoliano, Mark Boone Jr., who you might know from the Sons of Anarchy, Stephen Tobolowsky, which you might know from Groundhog Day, Thomas Lennon. Jesus, I didn't realize all these people were in this movie. Callum Keith Rennie. What was that face?
What was that noise?
I'm getting excited about these actors I haven't realized were in this movie since I haven't seen it for a hot minute. Hey, Sally, you know what you should do?
Read my one job.
Yeah, that's the one.
All right. The Parents Guide. Based on 361 user votes. Sex and nudity is mild. Violence and gore is moderate.
Let's pick it up.
Well,
Look,
I'm having to go all the way down.
See these lines? That's just
Yeah,
dead
okay.
air right there.
Well, I'm trying. Profanity is severe because they say fuck 78 times. And then alcohol, drugs, and smoking is mild. Frightening, intense scenes is... I don't... Where'd it go? Oh, it's moderate.
That's Sally, everyone. Cameron, have you ever seen this movie?
I've not.
Sally, do you remember watching this movie with me?
I did not watch this movie with you.
Yes, you did.
No, there's
Ryan?
no way.
I've seen it a couple
I watched
times.
the trailer and didn't even remember
I
it.
don't have to mute you. David?
Yeah.
It's funny because I remember us watching the movie.
It's funny because I don't.
I was sober that week.
Liar.
All right, fair enough.
You've never been sober.
But we did watch this movie. David,
It must have been your other wife.
anything you want to add before we go to watch the movie?
Aren't you sad you're not here?
This is a good one. It's been too long since I've watched it, so good choice.
It's been a hot minute. We're going to get to your house at some point. Mother Nature just hates you.
Apparently, yeah.
We all do. All right. We're going to watch this movie. We'll see. You have...
Oh, man, my self-esteem just went from... it stayed at point A.
I love you.
I'm funny. Let's...
I love you.
Do you have something to watch? We're going to watch on HBO.
I love you.
Yeah, I will do the same.
All right. I will call you when Sally's done whispering I love you.
I'm trying to subliminal message his confidence back up.
He has a dog that literally licks peanut butter off his balls. He's probably fine.
Okay. All right. Well, all right.
All right, Dave. We'll talk to you in a minute.
That's great. Okay.
Cal, take care.
He is laying on my bed.
Did you put a towel down in the yard?
A towel?
Yeah.
A cow towel.
Apparently, the new thing is that you put a towel down in your yard, so after the snow falls, you can pick it up, and they have this nice non-snowy place to poop. I don't know.
Oh, no, he doesn't care about that.
Okay.
That's just the base for the snowman.
That they're fucking dogs.
Well, it was the
Yeah, no,
second
he,
time I've heard that today, so
He likes the snow.
Is a husky.
It's like his element.
Is it plugged in?
Probably not.
The camera was just on.
I feel like we could organize this in a much better way.
We're working on it.
Well, you get a snow day tomorrow.
see,
So
it's right fucking here.
Rob's gonna spend all day tomorrow doing that.
All right, fuck it. We can hear each other. Hey, what'd you guys think of Memento?
Oh, you're already recording?
Yeah.
not to be confused with Memento.
Yes. Memento and Memento are two very different things, Sally.
I hate you
No,
so much.
But there
She's looking at
is.
Cameron when she
Jesus.
says this. She's looking at Cameron.
Is there not a movie called Memento?
I don't know. Did you tell him I did not
Surely.
spell it?
No, it's
No, you
just-
told us. When you asked us how to spell it.
No, I was talking to Cameron downstairs. He had to spell it out for me. I was way off. I spelled it how I say it.
Yeah.
Mento.
That's just a
It's only
Mentos
one letter.
commercial.
Yeah.
Hence
The fresh maker.
misspelling.
I'm looking up Memento right now.
Do it. I hope there's a movie called Memento.
Who has anyone other than Sally stop fucking with it?
I can't get it close enough. Oh,
Lean.
there. I don't want to. Had a long day. Taught PE.
Has anyone other than
Beaten kids
Sally and Cameron not seen this? Ryan, David, you both seen this, I'm assuming.
multiple times. Yes.
Correct.
It's a Christopher Nolan movie. It's so goddamn good. What'd you guys think?
Christopher Nolan. That name sounds familiar. What other movies?
He's big friends
has
with Tom
he made another
Savini.
movie that we might have heard of?
Him and Tom Savini are real good buds.
It was good.
Well, that's it, everyone. Thanks for listening.
Heyo.
I was really worried. First off,
Stop banging
I
into the
didn't
damn
mean
thing.
to.
Look at it.
First off, I feel like as a little bit of trivia, you should know that this is an actual condition.
True.
And I
You
could
seem to have it. She's
However,
nodding like that's fair. Yeah.
I thought I was going to be really confused throughout the whole movie
But since you've seen it before and forgot,
because I have not seen that movie before.
We just watched it
I
yesterday.
for real have not seen that.
2 days ago.
Lies. Anyway, because I was reading about it and I watched the trailer and they were saying it goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And but I felt like they did a good job going back and forth with the black and white and the color. And then I just realized at the very end when y'all said it,
Oh, you mean you
Oh.
realized when you were told?
then
Okay.
it was going, the whole thing was going backwards.
Well, everything in color was going backwards. Everything in black and white was going forwards.
Forwards. Right. So, yeah.
Great. Cameron?
Highly entertaining movie. Enjoyed it a lot. It's been a while since I've watched a 2000 film.
Low
But-
budget.
Low budget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sally, what'd you say? It took them 25
25
days
days.
to shoot it.
That's pretty good.
Trivia
Okay.
Sally.
To get
is
all
on
those
top of it.
little pieces
like-
together, which I
Yeah.
do wonder how if they just filmed 2 chunks of movie and then cut it individually. Anyone know?
Would you like me to look it up?
No.
Okay.
I mean, that would make things
What do you
easier.
mean 2 chunks of video and
Well, I mean, I guess they could have filmed the whole thing and then gone back and done the black and white pieces, cut those up, and then done the color pieces and cut those up, and then just Tarantino'd it.
Yeah, they use.
Because it's a full movie altogether.
They doubled up on clips and tripled up for
But
some
just
scenes.
to match up the last of one scene to the beginning of the next scene.
Right.
All right. David, are you on mute?
no? I'm here.
Okay.
I made a
not-
whiteboard so we can track what's going on.
Is that should I be able to see that?
He sent it to you. I saw it pop up on your email.
Yeah, I sent an invitation.
You know what? Fucking
Well-
nailed it.
Well played, sir. Well played.
I will be posting this on the Talking with Words chat. Yep. You win.
But I'm glad you
You
guys
win.
appreciate it.
God damn it. Fucking walked right into that bullshit.
For a second, I was
It's
like,
he got rickrolled.
it's like, was he really busy during the
I
movie?
was
or-
like, is this motherfucker for real?
well played, sir.
Oh, you son of a bitch. All right. Let's talk about this movie.
So who was, first off, was he Sammy?
That's one of the things. let's go through it, and then we'll discuss our opinions. Oh my God! Don't fucking look at me like that. Let's go through it, and then we'll discuss our opinions on what we think
So
actually
we don't
happened.
really know.
Shush. What actually happened?
Okay.
And let's start at the end or the beginning, if you will.
Well, let's lay the groundwork.
Good call.
You've got a main character who is suffering from a condition. I assume y'all looked it up to see what it's actually called.
Duh.
Hey, Sally, what's it called?
But
It is actually called anterograde amnesia, and it is from damage to the hippocampus, so you can't form new memories.
It's like when you hit in the
Right, so
funny
he
bone of the
has-
brain.
yeah, he has memories up to a certain point, and then after that, he writes a lot of notes to himself to try and keep track of what's going on after that, and that forms the basis for his reality.
For better or
I
worse.
think that's enough groundwork. So, yeah, Rob, I guess back to what you were saying.
Yeah, the way this was shot. Hold on.
Oh my god!
I said hold on. The way this was shot, and especially that very opening shot where he's shaking the Polaroid and it's filmed in reverse. The Polaroid goes back into the camera, the bullets go back into the gun.
That was pretty solid.
100% felt like Tenet. Now that we have Tenet, 20 years later, now that he has massive budgets and can write his own stuff. But Christopher Nolan's obsessed with time fuckage. Copyright Rob Gilchrist. But I loved that, the Polaroid, as he shook it, it went out of focus and it went back to blank. But that's the best opening metaphor for who Leonard is, because it just takes a few seconds for him to go blank on what's happening around him. And that opening shot is a great, this is what this guy is. Even though you don't understand at the time, it's a phenomenal physical representation of Leonard.
You're a smart guy.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I guess to add to that, the way the entire film progresses is you will have a scene that lasts about as long as his memory does, and
Yeah.
it'll skip back to I guess we'll call it the memory window prior to that. So as you're watching it, every decision he makes is logical to an extent based on what's happening, but then because you only have his context in the moment. But then as you go further back in time, you have a much better understanding of how he's gotten there and what is actually happening, and understanding that he will never have, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, and he's just living in those memory drops of, okay, I've got it, I've lost it, and then the next scene. And they divvy up those scenes with another memory drop, but it's from a different time, which they don't really show you until the very, very end, when you have the color flip and all the beautiful stuff there at the end. But yeah, the whole movie is based around, kind of coming conscious to where he loses it.
Yeah, those individual bubbles that make they all make a ton of sense while they're happening, but then once you see them, you're like, oh, okay.
Out of context, we have Memento.
It is
They're-
great.
There was a point in time in the movie, like near the beginning, where you're understanding his memory loss. You're trying to see like how long it actually lasts. It almost makes you think, the way it's shot, or not shot, but presented to us, that it almost takes like an overnight reset for him to now Groundhog Day, start the new day over, rinse and repeat, right? But we find out later in the movie that it is just a brief second where his memory can reset and all of a sudden new memories start. Did you get that feeling? Like,
Yeah, the way they set it up in the beginning with
Right.
him with his notes.
Every single
and-
time he was like, I don't know, almost like falling asleep, if you will.
Well, and that's exactly what it's like for him. But yeah, especially the first time I saw it, when he wakes up, it's like, oh, it's another hotel room. But he does that multiple times, and you can't tell, have I been here a day,
right,
3 weeks? However, he has all those examples of what's going on with him, and he has no idea exactly, how deep that time pocket goes.
I was gonna say, did they ever define what his time pocket or bubble was? I mean,
3 minutes, 5 minutes.
I was gonna say it seemed in the 3 to 5 minute range for most of it, but there was a couple of the scenes towards the beginning of the movie that, like, especially when they're going places in the car and having conversations, it seemed like it would have been, in the 15 to 30 minute range. But then, like,
Right.
the scene in the bar,
Like, are there neurological triggers that make it shortened
And that's part
or
of
elongated?
That's part of the, I think, end discussion of, is he really affected? Is this an end conversation or is this a now conversation?
No, it's about that.
No, that's the end.
Oh, sorry.
are you raising your hand?
She was.
Oh, okay.
This is a podcast.
The
Well,
audience can't
let's-
see your hand.
I
Go
don't
ahead,
wanna be
David.
rude.
David's trying to talk.
I guess we should go ahead and say, if you haven't watched the movie, you're about to get some massive spoilers, because I don't think we can do this one the way we normally do and just walk through it scene by scene, because
Oh,
to provide the context of what's going on, we have to reference the overall story, right? Do you guys agree?
Oh yeah, it's all intertwined.
Yeah.
And it's also very when you look at it overall, the actual storyline of this is very short. It's like 2 days.
So that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and say my belief is that what he is told at the end, so basically the beginning of the timeline, is true, and that his wife did have diabetes, and so he was the one that was ultimately tested and gave her the insulin injection multiple times in too short a time frame. And based on that belief, I'm going to go off of the scene where it was the Sammy character doing it, and you saw that she kept setting her watch back by 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that that was meant to convey that 15 minutes is about the outside limit of his ability to retain a present state of mind.
So, according to Christopher Nolan, this question has been asked a lot. How long can Lenny keep hold of certain memories? He can keep things in mind as long as he pays attention. So, depending on how much is being thrown at him, that time span can vary. Nolan also states that throughout the middle of the film, while numerous things are happening, Lenny's memory gets shorter and shorter.
All right. Well, we don't need the podcast anymore because we have Christopher Nolan here to tell us exactly what is happening.
Well, that supports the scene where he, again, spoilers, where he hits Natalie and he's
And the bar scene.
right. Like he's going in his own internal monologue, focus, focus, focus. Right.
Yeah.
Like he's trying to keep within the moment, and then a door slams and he loses his focus. Boom, everything erases, new memory.
Yeah, once you have that squirrel moment, he's out of it.
Yep.
He can't handle it. Yeah, you're right, David. This is kind of a hard one to run
Very
through.
difficult.
I think we should. just
Cameron, give it a
spell
shot.
Take us there.
So let's go on both sides that opening / final scene where he drives in with the truck and all that, and in the very beginning of the movie, it's them driving back up and him killing Teddy, the cop, which at the end is him making him John G. Because to your point, David, is this real or is he just convincing himself some sort of self-prophesized push because he's broken and he doesn't want to deal with this shit? Or maybe he does have something going on and he's just leaning on it as hard as he possibly can, or, those different types of things, because he, at the end, it makes him the bad guy because he says, you know what, you're going to be my John G now. He was told that he's killed multiple people. Even Teddy, who told him he was his friend that helped him hunt these other ones down, is like, well, we've killed all these other people. I'm going to just start getting them to bring money for drug deals, and then you kill them, and then I'll take the money. So this has been going on long enough that he's found a way to make money off of it.
Easy $100,000, and he doesn't have to do the dirty work.
Yeah, just risk getting shot in the face.
That was one of my questions. If his memory span is 15 minutes on average, how long is he putting the pieces to the puzzle in quotations here, together? Like, what's the course of this investigation?
And that's one of the things they show you. I think they did really well with the notes and the tattoos and everything, because no matter how long it's been, he has certain things in place that are going to lead him in a direction. and then you can fine tune the rest. And this is just him fine tuning to this point. We don't know how many other points there have been. You see that picture of him smiling that he shoved it in the door of him grinning. It's like, this is the first time, and you were so happy. I just want to have that again. He could have killed 100 people.
Right.
At this point, we have no idea.
I was going to say, he only had a couple tattoos there.
Yeah.
But it seems the more specific he gets with the tattoos, the harder it's going to be to create new John G's. And,
Right.
Like the license plate number that he tattooed on himself is
It's pretty specific.
very specific, whereas John G is about as vague as it gets. There's a John G, James G.
I've got a
you
John
gotta-
G in my family.
You got a James G in your family too.
That's the one. He might be two people, though. I'm not sure.
Probably.
But regardless,
So I've got a theory.
oh, go ahead.
Do you believe it?
It's gonna be great.
Not necessarily.
Of course not.
Considering the fact that we have both Joe Patoliano and Carrie-Anne Moss in this film, I think this is an alternate
There it is.
outcome of the Matrix.
This is the Matrix.
And the two of them are in there. They haven't managed to find Neo, so
They haven't
using this
taken the
guy
pill yet.
to there's something wrong with his equipment that's making his memory not work, so they're using him to achieve some sort of goal, and it is not going well for them because Joel Pantoliano's character Teddy
Cypher
is ultimately killed.
I have trouble thinking of him as anything other than Captain Howard or Eddie Ventro from Congo.
Oh, I've heard he's in Congo.
Yep.
I love his head getting put in
Congo is a fantastic film.
We should add that to the list.
Oh, absolutely. His head gets put in a bowling bag in Sopranos.
That's right, it does.
Love you, Joe. No, the God damn it, David. Now I'm off track. Going back, there's some of the little things I like because, like we were talking about, his notes to himself are all over the place and can apparently be easily manipulated, like Cameron said, with her going outside and just waiting 10 seconds and then coming in and saying, Dodd beat the shit out of me. And that's his new story. And he cares for her again because he forgot that he's the one who punched her in the face because she called his wife a cunt. And those types of...
Hey, that was a
Did you
direct
miss that
quote.
part?
Yeah.
It was a direct quote.
Guess so.
But he's
Yeah,
not.
you're
he's-
looking at your phone.
Rob's not saying it.
I'm
he's just
reading.
quoting.
I'm reading.
So she didn't watch the movie. And one of my favorite ones early on, she's getting so mad. One of my favorite ones early on was you have Mark Boone Jr.
Yeah.
Bobby Elvis.
Bobby Elvis. He's the hotel, maybe manager. I don't know. He's the guy at the front counter. Clerk. But he's talking to Leonard in that, like one of the very early scenes. And Leonard does his speech of, I don't know if you know this. I have this condition. I can't form new memories. And he just kind of fucks with him for a minute. He goes, I'm sorry, man. It's just so weird. Yeah, we've had this conversation 100 times. And then he has this like one line of, it's weird, right? Because it's all like backwards, which is exactly what the movie is. In the way they do that in the very beginning, just tell you what the movie is. I love that once you see it later on, you're like, oh yeah, they're actually telling you everything's backwards.
Right.
You just pay attention.
He also had the best moment in the movie when he accidentally takes him to the wrong room and ends up admitting, yeah, well, when we realized that you don't remember anything, my manager told me to go ahead and rent you another room, so we're charging you for two. And the question is immediately asked, well, how many rooms am I paying for? And he's very direct, like, well, two so
now.
far.
So far, yeah. Like, we're gonna get you for a couple more. Don't worry.
Yeah, like just kind of chill about it, and also admitting, well, you're not going to remember this anyway. But yeah,
At least you're an honest con man.
Yeah.
Or whatever he called it, a shyster or something like that. I think my favorite scene where he is figuring stuff out and then comes to the realization that it's the complete opposite of what he thinks is going on is when he's getting chased by Dodd.
Yes.
It pops in that scene. He's like, what am I doing? Oh, I'm chasing this guy. Then he whips around with a gun. And he goes, "Oh, never mind. He's chasing me." Takes off the other direction.
The internal narrating was fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I do want to shout out. I did not realize that it was Callum Keith Rennie that was Dodd. I love that actor. He was in Californication. He was in Battlestar Galactica. He was in Umbrella Academy. Like, that guy's been all over the place, and he always delivers. If you guys have seen any of his other previous stuff, Flash Forward, he was one of the guys in like the cult things and that. He's solid. But yeah, him realizing shit that might not be really what he's realizing. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm in a house. Where am I? Oh, maybe it's her house. When he's in bed with Carrie-Anne Moss at that one point, things like that.
And
And
so,
he just has to kind of feel it out.
and so sometimes it kind of comes off as smart-ass comments a little bit,
Oh, yeah.
which immediately takes me to one of the best things he's ever done, which is Lockout. And his just flat...
I do love Lockout.
We did Lockout a while back, didn't we?
Haven't posted it yet. I'm lazy.
Oh, man. Need to throw that one out
Hey,
there then.
up and coming Lockout, starring Guy Pearce.
I could have sworn we posted that one.
But it's amazing. I love it. But yeah, I mean, Guy Pearce, I think this is the movie that got me really Guy Pearced.
This one, and he did Rules of Engagement with Tommy Lee Jones and Samuel L. Jackson.
Meg Ryan?
What?
I don't know. That's all we were saying names.
No, he.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where they're on the roof of the embassy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Samuel L. Jackson's being tried.
No one likes my jokes tonight, especially this one over here who
I was
stopped
laughing.
talking because she's getting so annoyed with me. Karate.
Just finding the next trivia.
But yeah,
I
he
am reading the trivia.
he plays the prosecuting attorney for the Marines.
I think one of the things I liked about
So-
the film was how Leonard is telling what we find out to be a cop on the other side of this phone, how he has a process, right? Like how some people might think he's sloppy, but like his process is almost tried and true, and there are no flaws with it, right? And near the beginning of the movie, you kind of take that side of things, like,
Right.
oh, he's kind of got this down, right? With the pictures, flip it on the back, read it. Everything kind of checks out for the first, half to 3/4 of the movie, and then it gets a little bit further, and you're like, oh, maybe this is a little flawed, and it
He's
starts
ridiculous.
to open up some errors in his process, and then now you start questioning everything about Leonard and who's right, who's wrong here.
Yeah. Gold star for Cameron.
Thank you. I'll take that home, put it on my poster. Appreciate it.
David, you're about to say something?
Yeah, I had a couple of things. First off, I should have mentioned
You all shut the fuck up.
I have a theory.
it's a little funny to me to hear the name Leonard because I have a friend whose dog is named Leonard. So normally when I hear
Kravitz?
that name. yeah, probably named after Leonard Kravitz. Definitely not Nimoy. No, actually, I think it is Nimoy.
It probably
But,
is.
already losing my train of thought.
It's a
Making
theory.
Jokes about the name Leonard.
That's what we do here.
Come back to me. I forgot what I was going to say.
We did not. I checked. We did not post Lockout yet.
Okay.
Oh, actually, now I remember. I found my note. I don't know. Did you guys ever have the DVD for this movie?
So
I
got,
own it. Yes.
That's one yes. I got it as a screener when I worked at Walmart, and it was in a CD case, and I still have it. I'm not returned it to the FBI like they asked me to. Suck it.
Okay. So for our younger listeners, a DVD is like a prehistoric version of a Blu-ray.
Do you know what a CD
But
looks like?
Something I remember.
They don't even know what a
The
Blu-ray
first
is
time I
anymore.
watched this, there were the guys that had it playing went back into the menu on the prehistoric DVD, and I don't know if it was all of the special features, but there was something that you could unlock, but you had to do this memory game
Oh,
type
nice.
thing, and I didn't stick around for much of it, but I remember
That
thinking
you
it was
know
really
of?
cool and worked really well with with it being that movie. I was curious if you guys if you had ever seen that or tried it.
No, it wasn't
David,
on
were
mine.
you in my room when we were doing that?
No, it was downstairs.
He was in your room
Okay.
doing something else.
Probably. Because that's something Zach and I would have done.
Yeah, I had a screener, so mine did not have the bonus features. Mine was, hey, buy this movie for Walmart and Sam's because it's good.
I used to watch that was one of my favorite parts about DVDs. Bonus features.
Even menu interaction was pretty fun on some of those movies.
Yeah, they used to be fun.
Yeah.
Man.
That sucks now.
Man.
Fix that, Netflix.
The only other place that uses menu never.
What HBO Max, that's what we watch this one on.
Yeah, thanks. Yep. Thanks, Jimmy. Also, getting back to the movie, I really enjoyed, and it's like one of the first scenes that Patoliano is in alive, and he says, you know, have I told you this before? He goes, only every time I see you. And he says that like 9 times in the movie. And some of those repeats are just those hits, those to remind you, hey, this guy's fucking brain damaged. And the way they do some of those are great. Just don't forget, he's fucked up.
Let's talk about some of the kind of the unintentionally funny situations that he gets in because of his short memory. So one that stands out to me is that he goes to Dodd's hotel room to hide out and catch him unawares, but he's sitting in the bathroom with this bottle of whiskey in his hand because he's going to use it to hit him over the head. And in that moment, he forgets what he's doing, and his thought is, "I don't feel drunk."
I don't
or
feel
something
drunk.
like that. But then, the next thing that happens is that he takes a shower. So when Dodd gets back, he's popping out of the shower and then just fights him because he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, he pulls an Easter Promises on him.
Yep.
And that happens so many times because, like, I want them to release a joke version of this movie where it's just straightforward. And the whole time you're like, why are you making these decisions, bud? It's like watching Breaking Bad. Like, stop making horrible decisions.
It's like the bar scene where, like, no, it's for charity. Just spit in the beer.
Yeah.
Push him one table over. Here you go, sir.
Yeah. And I did, like, up to the Dodd thing, I liked that she wrote down, Natalie, when he was asking her for information, she wrote down, this is what Dodd looks like. This is where he's at. She wrote down his description, not Dodd's. He's 6'2". He's blonde. And then she put his room number on it.
She did.
And he went to 9 because he had it upside down because he's a moron. And then I did like the look through the keyhole and you see the shadow and he kicked it because that's a legitimate. That's what I would do. I love killing people in hotel rooms. Haha, it's a joke. And I have to say that or else I'll have to go to court. And then he goes back to the other hotel room and Dodd knows 6 is his, so he goes in there to find him, and he's in there showering because he doesn't remember what the fuck he's doing. Are you done?
Yeah.
Well, why? You don't have to go to school tomorrow. You want a popper?
It's not even 11.
Hey, tell everybody goodbye at least. You haven't talked for like 10 minutes.
Real quick, Sally, what was your favorite part of the movie?
What was your favorite part of the movie? David's asking what your favorite part of the movie was.
Well, David.
She's full of fucking sass right now. Look out.
Probably where the Teddy guy just pops out all the time. He just pops in.
I'll give you that one.
Hey! He just pops in.
That surprised you enough that you looked up from your phone. Look how much.
Hi, Sally.
You want your phone?
Teddy really does pop up a lot. If this movie were made today, you would have to assume that he dropped an AirPod in this guy's pocket or something because he is everywhere.
Well, again, if you look at the other direction, he drops him off at Natalie's house, and then I guess he just sits out there. And when he comes out the next morning, he jumps in. I thought you left town. What the fuck you doing? Because he's watching him like, I know you have this condition, but you're making bad choices, bud.
Yeah, I mean, he pops in because they want the viewer to try and piece it together, right? That he's manipulating Lenny, to steer him away from him as a killer. So that's why he's popping in so much. But how he does it is what's fun.
Have we talked about his tattoos yet?
little
Sort
bit.
of, kind of, but not really. Well, we talked about them more. They've gotten more specific as he's continued on his murderous journey.
Well, there's the big one is the one across his collarbone, which says John G. raped and killed my wife.
Yeah.
And then he has a find him, kill him tattoo. He has the one on the solar plexus, which I couldn't read all of it.
Yeah.
And then he had his clues, which were
Facts.
male, white, John or James G, drug dealer, and then the license plate number.
Mm-hmm. He had one that said, don't answer the phone.
Never answer the phone.
Never answer the phone.
Which, while he's on the phone, is when he discovers that one.
He's not good on the phone.
He see your eyes.
Some of these tattoos,
And then he
by
had
the way,
that,
are professional and
that
some
other
are
one
not.
that said "Live, Laugh, Love."
And then no regrets.
No regrets.
Not a single letter.
But it was
even
just
one letter?
it was just a picture of Jigglypuff. And we find where the fuck are we?
Well, we're still on tattoos.
Oh, great. That helps me not at all. Someone else take over.
Did you get confused, Rob?
Yeah.
Let's kind of maybe we should start at the beginning of the timeline and work our way forward and explain why he does what he does.
Yeah, we
as
talked
opposed
about
to
the
following
reasoning.
timeline of the movie. Yeah, so
Other than
So at the
John G
beginning-
raped and killed my wife. Okay, yeah, we've got it down.
pretty much the first thing that happens in the timeline is he meets Jimmy at this abandoned warehouse or whatever it is and kills him and then takes his clothes. And I don't really know why he was planning on taking his clothes in the first place, but
Teddy sets him
100% did.
up.
well, right. But
Yeah, why the fuck did he take his clothes? I
He
wrote
didn't wanna
that
get
down.
blood on him.
Well, but why the fuck would you take his clothes? He had a perfect pair of lumberjack duds. Why would you take the suit that's way too big for you?
You can't wear lumberjack clothes in
well,
a Jaguar.
Anyway,
Those don't
he,
match. Then he'll stick out.
he kills him, but as the guy's dying, he utters the word Sammy, which tells Leonard that this guy knows me.
They've had a
And makes
conversation
him
before.
start questioning, what have I done? How did I get here? So when Teddy shows up, actually, I'm just going to back up. This whole first scene consists of Jimmy, Lenny, and Teddy. I don't know. I find that a little funny. But
Three Stooges, you mean?
when Teddy, what?
The Three Stooges?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. They just all sound, somewhat whimsical. So this trio is there, Jimmy being dead, and that's where Leonard starts questioning Teddy. He really starts pushing him for answers, because Teddy at first tells him like, "Hey, this is the guy that killed your wife. We got him. Good job. Be happy." And he doesn't accept it. So at that point, Teddy kind of gets a little more serious. And
He calls him out.
I think he's telling the truth at this point, and he says, "Look, here's what's going on. We already killed him. I helped you find him and kill him a while back, and you didn't remember it. So ever since then, I've just been pointing you in the direction of new people to give you something to do, basically." Of course, he doesn't mention that he has also been profiting off of this.
Right.
So, Teddy's not a good guy. Leonard is not an especially good guy. But
Really, no
At
one
this
in
point,
this is
Leonard-
a decent person.
right.
They're all
But Leonard
huge
makes
pieces
a
of shit.
decision once this has been told to him. He decides, like at this point, he knows, okay, I've already killed the actual guy. This guy is using me, so he's going to be the next one I go after, and I'm not going to remember making this decision. And that's why he writes down the license plate, gets the tattoo, and all that. He's setting himself up to track down the guy who has been using him up to this point. And it kind of makes sense because when you look at his flashbacks when he's talking about the story of Sammy, there's the moment where Sammy's wife, and I believe that this is kind of a made up story he's come up with, but when his wife comes up, Leonard, and asks Leonard, like, do you really believe that he can't get the memories? Leonard just gives her an answer, to kind of move along. And he just kind of throws an answer out there and doesn't worry about what the ultimate consequences of that are going to be. And I think that's really telling about his character, because that's what he does when he sets himself on the course to go after Teddy. he knows he's lying to himself, and there's no telling what he's going to do on this path to kill Teddy, but he's just setting himself out there because, if he needs to do something, if he needs to go after someone, kill them to think he's killing his wife's, or he's getting back at his wife's killer, then might as well get someone that's using him. Sorry, I'm droning on.
No, I'd like to take that another step further, if I can, real quick.
Yeah.
As far as Teddy being the cop, whatever, they talk about, or Teddy talks about Leonard being the one that has the mental issue and kills his wife with the insulin, right? So it seems more likely to me that, yes, he got attacked, and then because of that, he killed his wife because he couldn't remember. But because of the conditioning, he remembers the story of killing the wife, but he has like that PTSD kind of thing, so it's not him. He has to...
He's seeing it from...
Yeah. He has to push it to somebody else. He has to make up a character. He has to... it couldn't be him that did it in his mind. And you take that another fold forward to finding the killer, that whole soup is what makes up his character.
So
I would say that's not that piece is not so much amnesia as it is just straight up denial.
Right. Yeah.
Well, let me ask
it's projection.
Why do we think, or why are you saying that Lenny is not a good person?
Well, he just baited him to...
He is...
Are we ignoring all the murders?
Up. He knows that when he sees the tattoo, he is going to believe, the future him is going to believe that Teddy is the one who assaulted his wife and killed her in his mind. So he is tricking himself into killing this guy who, despite what he's done to him, you don't just go out and kill somebody.
No, we know his system is...
Hold on a second.
What do you do on your Saturday nights, David?
To be fair, I've been hunting down Poseidon for years.
Well,
I mean, Greek gods are a little bit different.
And harder to kill.
We know that his system is flawed. I think so. I somewhat disagree that Lenny is a terrible person. Lenny is essentially a puppet. Every other
He's
person,
murdered like 19 people, though.
but that's because every other person in this movie are his puppeteers.
So if Rob and I convinced you to murder somebody,
Correct.
that still makes you an okay guy.
If I had
But
his
up,
diagnosis and can only remember 15
kill,
minutes, yeah.
By setting himself to kill Teddy, he becomes his own puppeteer. So he becomes just as bad as them.
But that's his system.
That's
Again,
the point I'm making.
His system
had
is
he not
flawed.
made that decision, then I wouldn't consider him an especially bad person.
His system is flawed. I mean the court would rule him just a psycho
case.
Yeah, exactly, and probably wouldn't do any time.
But maybe not. But to David's point, he did, in that time frame, in the, in that little 10 or 15 minute bubble, he has rationalized that Teddy is his new John G. and made the conscious decision to give himself a clue to lead him to kill once again.
Maybe there was a bit of rationale that Teddy was just a piece of shit and he needed to die.
And I think Teddy was probably keeping him on track, and he just kind of lost hold of the reins.
So
and Teddy was the guy that was like, hey, go kill this person and I'll take the money.
Right.
But at the very least, you're not killing innocent people because you're an insane person and you're going to make up rules to kill other people.
We're just going to kill drug
friends.
dealers and such. Yeah.
I've got David.
So back to somebody made the comment about why he took the guy's clothes. So, and again, I don't know that we know his prior life story is 100% accurate. I mean, he says he can remember everything, but he wasn't exactly, as a insurance claims investigator, he wasn't exactly a flannel and pickup truck type. So did he hijack that truck?
I thought the same thing. Yeah. Was that his original?
Steal the attire?
Because when you see him in the flashbacks, he's crew cut. He's
clean cut,
He's
shirt
a
and
polo
tie.
model.
Yeah,
Which, to be fair, Guy Pearce is a very handsome man.
that's fair.
But yeah, he
But
was totally straight laced.
Is he?
And then all of a sudden he has the Marty McFly get up
Right.
there at the very end.
Is he as he finishes one quest, if you will, is he assuming the not necessarily personality because he's not going to remember it after 10 or 15 minutes, but is he assuming kind of the persona with the clothes in the car and just as he moves on to another one to
I think there's two options there.
Well-
Either one, he takes that so he can move on and do another version. Like if his brain
Right.
damage is not really brain damage and he's just working on the next Scooby-Doo case, or Christopher Nolan is just like, hey, don't worry about that. Those are really the two big ones. Dave was about to say something.
Yeah, all I was going to say is I don't think that he is deliberately taking the place of these people because he doesn't know that he's going,
Right.
from one to the next.
he's not
In that case, I would just lean toward maybe he's just a weird dude.
he's just
Oh, he's clearly a weird dude.
he's not taking the place
Yeah.
of any, but he's kind of changing his persona
He
for
punches
the next.
women in the face and then fucks them.
Well,
All right, so actually
she
he's
deserved
normal.
it.
She deserved it.
He
Hey,
used
David,
an
are
open
you-
hand. It doesn't
David,
count.
Are you lit by candlelight?
I was going to ask the same thing.
It's a light bulb that may be familiar to you.
Oh, is it the one that's in my
because I got it from
bathroom?
you. Yeah.
I got.
It's the reason you
I
got a
didn't want
light
to
out.
say anything, but kind of want to fuck you right now.
Really set the mood, huh?
I just wanted to see what his face looked like.
Seems accepting.
So anyway,
See, we can see you, David, but you can't see Rob with his shirt off rubbing his nipples.
against my penis.
I'll be thankful for the small thing.
Well, yeah, but we can. So
All right. So one of my favorite lines, and I think one of you guys said it out loud during the movie, is, "I can't remember to forget you." Was that you, Cameron?
it's a beautiful line.
What a great fucking line. And it's the very end of the movie, and it's one of those that sums the whole thing up, just like the whole Polaroid in the beginning, about what this guy is doing, going through, forcing himself through, whatever it is. It's undefined. We don't have Sally here to read us the things because I pissed her off and karate chopped her to death. But there's so much left kind of in the wind with the different aspects of his character.
That quote sets up the hooker scene.
It
Right?
doesn't every quote.
It
She said.
sets up the hooker scene where he specifically
Yeah, no, yeah, that's a good point.
gets
We
the
skipped
hooker.
over that.
and has her very meticulously place the belongings of his wife in scattered throughout the motel room.
Put them where you would put them.
Place do not
Correct.
use.
Yes.
And then, let's go ahead and fall asleep here. And then when I'm asleep, you go ahead and slam the door in the bathroom, and I will.
Doesn't have to wake me up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reliving his last real memory.
But that's where that line kind of really hits home. And then from there, he's like, you know what? I just need to burn it all down.
Yeah. And how many truckloads of stuff have I burned? Well, lots, because you keep buying them at fucking junk stores, apparently, and
Yep.
doing it over and over again. Another thing I wanted to point out is as the movie goes on, the scar on his cheek gets worse, which I like the attention to detail on that. Every sequence in color, the 2 scratches that Jimmy gives him at the very end beginning get worse as the movie goes on, and at the very end they're bleeding. This motherfucker knows how to make a movie.
So you know what else kind of impressed me about this one? There's only like a dozen cast members for the whole film.
Oh yeah, it's tight.
Yeah. I mean, this has a smaller cast than Card Counter.
I was even thinking that fucking
Only
movie.
6 people spoke there.
Man, somebody will publish that one. I was even thinking
Taylor.
when he came down the stairs in the hotel in the first Ford sequence, I was like, we could do this for one of the ones I want to do for the Bentonville Film Festival, because it cost $6 for the clothes because they were all way too big and they just
Paid by the hour.
yeah. Oh, well, that's a different.
Oh,
That's $100.
whoops.
But Yeah, it was really easy. It was a motel. It was one of those shots that cost them nothing other than if they're filming it in L.A. or the TMZ zone. TMZ is the zone. TMZ, 10 Mile Zone, for those that don't know. It's only like $15 to pay for the permit. So nothing to shoot that shot. Those quick shots they do, and then they do shitty bars. They do very small indoor areas. They do houses.
I was going to say half of them are like hotel rooms.
Yeah, it had to have cost nothing to do most of this.
And they didn't they film the whole, what was it, like 25 days or something like that?
Sally. 28 days. Yeah, 28 days.
25.
I don't know. 28 days later. I don't know. She ran off. Karate.
So one of the questions I had is Teddy, John G., is he actually a police officer?
Yes.
So explain the scene where...
His real name is Captain Howard.
Explain the scene where Lenny gets off the phone with said officer, and he says, "You're in the lobby?" And immediately goes to the lobby and says, "Officer," whatever, and then Teddy
Officer Gamble
looks at the clerk and kind of goes like, "Yeah, I'll go along with that story."
Well,
That's kind of like his facial expression, right? He's looking at the clerk and then goes,
I think the only
Sure.
person that he has communication with at that time is Gamble, who is Teddy. And he's the one who slides the papers under the door and is trying to get him to answer the phone because he knows that he's fucked up. He can't.
He can,
focus.
as long as he can't see you, he can influence, and he has no idea.
And also, he uses him,
well,
obviously.
I know all that, but then explain that shot. Why the double take to ensure that the clerk is not paying attention to what's happening in the lobby?
Well, maybe he was in it with the clerk on the right in the other room. I don't know. I don't know the show you're talking about, but I can think of 1,000 reasons if you want them.
There just needs to be a reason,
All right, it's the other room.
because Christopher Nolan is a genius here with this.
No,
with
he
his
does. He doesn't leave anything up to it. But I think in all of that, Teddy is the one talking to him on the phone. He's the one slipping papers in the door. He knows where he's at mentally, and he knows how to kind of focus it in a direction. And this is the part of their time together where it goes off the rails, and that's what we're seeing in the film. Why do I talk to burps?
Just let him out.
This is doing it for
that
years.
was bad
Feel
too.
it.
And why does he? This is when we see him focus him in a certain direction, and it doesn't go right.
Right. So we go out into the parking lot, and it's no, my name's Teddy, right? And then this whole Teddy character comes
Well,
out.
at the beginning, you see him saying, "I'm undercover. My name's Teddy. It's not. Don't refer to me as Gamble." All that. Yeah. But at the same time, I really like when you go to the front end. Oh man, this is so hard to explain.
When he goes to get in the car.
When he walks out, he goes, "Oh, let's take my car." He goes, "Your car," and it's just that little bit of a, "What the fuck are you talking about? That's not your Jag. That's not your suit. That's not your gun." It's those things are so much more prevalent when you watch it the second time, because Teddy's like, "Your car, really?"
Right.
Well, he opened the door to his car.
Exactly, and he says, "No, it's like mine," because he has a picture of
his car.
Yeah,
unquote,
he's
his car.
looking at
That,
air quotes
so
his
that
car.
reminds me of another great line in the film is when he says, "I don't think that's my gun. I don't think they'd want someone like me to have a gun."
Yeah.
He's got like 4 of them, and he's just fucking executing
I
people.
don't think they give somebody like me a gun.
Yeah,
That was great.
He's like Mr. Magoo.
He kind of is.
That's most of what I got, and I really, Jesus, I really like that they show him unloading his revolver in the truck at the end, so you have a full picture of the entire scope of the movie, where he comes in and sees the bullets in the truck bed, and he goes, "Oh, it's been here for years. Oh, it looks like it's only been here for like a day or two."
Days. The tire tracks are only a couple days old.
So when you look at that scope of it, it's only been a minute since this whole thing started, when they rolled in this town, and that's why Teddy's trying to get him the fuck out of there. He's like, "Oh man, I thought you were gone. Like, Let's go. Shoot. Watch the fucking movie. It's so goddamn good.
It's a great movie.
It's good.
It's
And
Nolan's first
Major.
renowned work. Like Following was the first one he did. It's black and white. It's fantastic. If you haven't seen The Following, watch that. Have you guys seen has anybody seen that?
No.
I'm pretty sure I've seen
I'm
it.
not looking at you, Cameron.
Yeah, thank you. I already know that answer.
It's another one. I mean, every single movie that he's made, other than like Dunkirk, has been a mindfuck movie.
I'd have to scroll through some of his stuff to see.
Sally.
I mean, the Batman's not really mine.
Actually, Sally, get with Chris over there and check that for us real quick.
So this is a movie that I want to watch in like 6 months. You know, like let everything kind of settle.
After you forget about it.
Right. So maybe 15 minutes. But I think it would
Well
be very beneficial to watch this movie another time.
I put this up there. Like the first time I saw this, I think in the same year I saw Fight Club. And these are two movies I watched and then immediately rewatched.
Yeah.
Just like Fight Club. As soon as it was over, I was like, I need to see that again. And I watched it again and you pick up so much more the second time because you know what's happening. Or at least to a degree. It took me a couple times to figure it. I mean, I was also 15. But it took me a few times to pick up what was actually going on.
I was gonna say, I mean, the Batman movies are the only ones that didn't have some major twist in them somewhere.
And even those had some pretty good. I mean,
For Batman,
you had the Joker.
I mean,
you
don't
had
get me wrong.
You had the Prestige. You had
they were great.
Interception.
I really liked the Prestige.
You had
Great movie.
Interstellar.
Yeah.
I mean, Nolan knows how to make a film.
No, he does. I'm not taking anything away from the Batman
Oh, not
movies.
at all,
It's just
not at all.
they're all great.
And he made like arguably some of the best Batman movies of all time because he went so into detail with some of the things he did. Of course. And
Tom,
I wondered which would break first. If you haven't seen my Bane videos, go to YouTube and check out Rob Gallagher's Bane videos because they're fucking stupid. But I need views.
Bane gets a roommate.
I'm going there now.
Have you not
That
seen
one
them?
was.
No.
Man.
Oh, we're watching them as soon as we did finish with this podcast.
Yeah.
born in it.
I'll say my personal favorite is the Bane and Corey.
I like them all, but Bane and Quarantine was the most fun because I didn't have to work with anybody. I just got to do it by myself.
Right before the first time I met you, I was with David, and David's like, "I'm going to show you who Rob is," and we watched all the Bane videos back to back.
And you still came over?
He made me.
Idiot.
I figured that would have been like, you know what? Never mind. I'll stay at home. You go have fun. That guy's fucking weird.
I think I tried. David was like, "No, I'm not leaving you at the house by yourself tonight."
I have no doubt that after this, we're never going to see Cameron again.
So what you're telling me, Ryan, is you were forced to at one time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, this is not good.
I didn't get a choice the first time I came over here.
You weren't forced.
This is not going to end well.
Unless...
But Rob, how does that make you feel though, knowing that when people are about to meet you, there's basically an introductory reel out there.
Actually, I would rather them know what they're getting into, because most people when they meet me and they don't know what they're getting into, they are not happy.
I can't wait to watch this.
Like when you give multiple speeches as different people.
Exactly.
So we were at the.
This is not Memento related. We're just telling the story about our friend's wedding.
Yeah.
Charles.
It was the rehearsal dinner for some good friends of ours, and Rob, like they had a microphone set up, and people could go up and give a nice little heartwarming speech about how much the couple meant to them. So Rob goes up and introduces himself. I forget who the first character was.
It was like John G. Hetfield.
Did he say, yeah, at no point did he say, "I'm Rob Gilchrist." He said, whatever the character was, and then started talking about things that have never happened, he he described how our friend, who I'll refer to as Charles, um, taught him to love again. He had another character who the bride had apparently saved from a plane crash or
She
something.
pulled
and
me out of a
dragged from
plane,
the
a burning
wreckage.
plane.
And during this whole thing, everyone on the group side is laughing because most of us, know Rob, but the majority of the bride side did not know what they were getting into and were very offended by what he was saying.
It was fucking amazing.
There were some really puzzled looks the following day when they realized you were officiating the ceremony as well.
Oh man, I'm not gonna say her name, but Charles' bride's mom came up after the wedding and was like, "Well," and I was like, "You were a little scared, weren't you?" She goes, "Yeah, I was a little scared." Was it all right? She goes, "You did great." I said, "Are you still scared?" She goes, "Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're gonna do. There's hours left. You're like a loose cannon." It's like, "Yeah, you goddamn right, bitch."
This is
I
100%
slapped her in the
accurate.
face with a banana.
I didn't see that, but
You
I'm not going to
were
discount
around.
it.
I'm going to teach my kids how to do that very soon. They're doing speeches.
Oh,
man,
boy.
that hurts to laugh.
Well,
I forgot about that shit. That's so fun. So about Memento.
I did have another thought about. You guys may have forgotten we watched this movie called Memento tonight,
It was really good.
and I have another theory.
Do you?
Is it on the
Believe
white?
it.
Is it on the
Yes.
whiteboard?
It's not.
Thank Christ.
Funny thing, I actually bought a second whiteboard today because I need another one. I need one for work. But
Just use Cal.
what am I just going to
Just draw on him.
notes into him?
Here, boy.
Temporary hair
Oh.
dye. It's fine.
He would never come near me again. So I think what ends up happening after this story ends is that Leonard continues to do his thing and ends up amassing a good bit of money while doing it. And concurrently, science advances to the point where he is cured. And having this very checkered past behind him, he changes his name to Peter Wayland.
Well, that actually checks out. I've seen Prometheus.
From there,
Yes.
yeah, sets the stage for humanity to go to the stars and
He forms the first
Find
fully functional AI,
alien.
which
Yes.
I
David.
have a theory that I don't
Okay.
believe that Leonard actually is the son and whole proprietor of the Sticky Tack Family Trust. And when the father founder died, he made up this shit so that he could use sticky tack in every hotel room in America to hold up his pictures and maps because they would not let him poke holes in the wall with tacks.
Checks out.
And now he's rich beyond his Leonard dreams.
Interesting. I like it.
We're fucking.
What did we
I'm
miss?
dumb as shit.
Listen,
What else we
I'm
got?
I'm still in the camp that Leonard, whatever you want to call him, is.
I like that
is-
you guys are friends now. You're Lenny.
Yeah, we're on a nickname
You
basis.
guys are buds.
You realize his wife used to call him that, and he hated it.
Well, that's why I'm calling him that. No,
Wait, were you?
Leonard.
You're about to have your name changed to John G here if you're not careful.
I'm in the camp that he's an okay guy. I mean, he's cursed with this terrible diagnosis, which they reference throughout the movie. Obviously, that it's obviously hell for the person who has it, trying to almost live a new day every single day and know everything about everyone around you is extremely difficult. So you go ahead and tattoo stuff all over your body. But it's even worse on those close to you and your loved ones, right? So the Sammy Jenkins, and I know Sally likes to reference the dementia in this movie along with 50 First Dates, which not really close, but somewhat close in the dementia part. But you really see the toll that it takes on the loved ones.
Sally just likes people to know that she's seen a movie before.
That is true. Oh, like 51st Dates. Yeah, exactly like that. And I think that was portrayed very well through obviously the Sammy Jenkins story, which we still don't know is true. But I'm in the camp that it is true because, again, he remembers everything for the most part up until his wife is killed. We know that he was a insurance investigator. Yes, you could convince yourself that he's making up the story, but where did the tattoo come from? We know that he does his own tattoos. We know that he does professional tattoos. That tattoo of Remember Sammy Jenkins was not in his own handwriting. I doubt that was one that he had professionally done. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, we can cut all that out, but because you're wrong. But
not wrong. Christopher Nolan told me so in the trivia that Sally read.
I'm also really glad that this movie gave us Guy Pearce because I don't know if Guy Pearce would have gotten to the point he is without this film. He hadn't done a lot before this, and Guy Pearce is fucking awesome. If you're not following him on his movie madness, I'll post Lockout someday. But he's done so much shit. One. He was in Iron Man 3. He was the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
If you are not familiar with movies that happened
Count of
almost
Monte
10
Cristo.
years ago. Was he in Count of Monte Cristo?
Yep.
Yeah.
Was he? God damn.
He was.
Huh. There you go. Good fella.
He even played Scrooge recently.
Oh, I did hear that. My dad told me, and he was like, "It was a serious Scrooge." That's how my dad talks.
He did a good job. I only saw half the film, but
Rob, you're gonna love this. I was looking through his filmography, and he was in something called Two Brothers.
God damn. And then these old ladies came down, and these two brothers, and then the moon split apart, but the two brothers would have, what's it called?
Jesus.
Just two brothers. It's called Two Brothers.
Oh, okay. So a movie I forgot that he was in that if you've
LA
never seen
Confidential?
it is absolutely amazing.
Nope.
Ravenous.
Oh, Ravenous
Have
is
you guys
fucking
ever seen
awesome.
this?
yeah.
Robert Carlyle and Guy Pearce.
Yes.
It's phenomenal.
It has one of the best lines of any film I've ever watched. It's an exchange.
Just do it. We're not gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's Robert Carlyle, but at the end of that film, spoilers, he and Guy Pearce, who have both
Become ravenous.
Yeah, well, they've both eaten human flesh, so they're it makes them heal and all that. They are locked together in a bear trap, and Robert Carlyle says, "If you die first, I'm definitely going to eat you, and if I die first, bon appetit."
Eat me, yeah. Nobody knows that movie. I'm surprised you know that movie.
Oh yeah, I watched that so long ago. It's got David Arquette.
That was like very
Other
early
people?
2000s.
I feel like you made me watch half of that once, David.
I'm sure I tried to.
That was right around the time 28 Days Later came out because he was in that as well.
Guy Pearce?
Robert Carlyle.
Oh,
No, 28
he was in 28
weeks.
weeks.
28 weeks later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never mind. The other one. Anyway, we're getting
way off base.
yeah. Which
Did we?
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Story of my life.
Memento, it's fucking awesome. Anything else that you guys want to add to the actual Memento part of the podcast? If you have not seen this movie, shame on you. It is, everyone loves Christopher Nolan. He is a phenomenal filmmaker, and this is his first real foray into Hollywood directing and writing with his brother, Jonathan Nolan, who was also with him on the Dark Knight series. He did Inception with him. He did Prestige with him. He's doing his own stuff now. They're both kind of going out and about. And Nolan is now doing the movie with Cillian Murphy as the bomb maker. He just keeps getting better and better. Like I have not seen a bad Christopher Nolan movie.
It doesn't exist.
David.
Yep. You look like you want to say
I'm
something.
sitting here silently agreeing.
I'm looking at your picture like you're ready to talk, but yes, silent agreement.
Didn't miss anything. No characters.
Anything you want to add to this before we shut it down, Cameron?
No one agrees with my hot takes, so I'm good.
Yeah, well, if they weren't wrong, you'd be fine.
Your opinion is factually incorrect.
I'm not coming over to play anymore.
I'll tell you what. You did
said that 2 years ago.
Great opinion work earlier on, and now, man, you just shit the bed. But if you haven't seen this, watch it. This is the freshman version of Christopher Nolan film. It stands up. There's no problem with it. It's shot the old indie style. Guy Pearce is phenomenal. Joe Patoliano is amazing. Carrie-Anne Moss is great. You've got just the way he shoots it works because no one does this quite like that. It's like what Tarantino did with Pulp Fiction back in the day. It's a totally different type of film. And Tenet feels like a full-on like birth version of this with a sci-fi twist, but this is really what got that going, I think. Anything else you want to guys add before we wrap this up?
Nope. It's great. Check it out if you haven't seen it already, which you should have.
Full of a toque. All right. Check out our podcast. We're literally everywhere, every app, everywhere you get a podcast, we're there. Go to robkilkersbooks.com. We just did a whole bunch of shit at Comic-Con. We have a bunch of new people that we're going to introduce to the world via our podcast, and they are going to be sharing us with their audiences. So expect new and spectacular things. This is probably news to David because I don't think we've seen him since. But yeah, we're expanding. We're like a fungus that wipes the world clean.
Yay.
Man, that was a bad one. Hey, Charlie, play us out.
Are we recording?